women-led eco-enterprises are reshaping sustainability across Asia and the Pacific. They develop green solutions, strengthen climate resilience, and drive community impact. But many still face one of the toughest challenges, accessing the finance they need to grow. Today, we turn to solutions. This webinar explores how innovative financing can unlock capital for women-led green businesses. From inclusive financial instruments to new models that remove long-standing barriers. Our experts will unpack what works, what's emerging, and how financial institutions, investors, and development partners can build a more inclusive and empowering ecosystem for women entrepreneurs. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to the webinar.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the second session of our webinar series, Propelling Women Eco-Entrepreneurship into the Future. My name is Chieko Yokota, Gender Specialist at ADB's Gender Equality Division, and I will be your moderator today. We are happily overwhelmed by the interest from the participants as we have more than 370 registration today. So thank you so much for joining. The webinar series is a collaborative effort by the United Nations Women for Climate Resilient Society Program, EMPOWER, jointly implemented by UN Environment Program and UN Women, as well as ADB's Gender Equality Division and ADB's Southeast Asia Development Solutions. Through the 5 webinar sessions, the initiative will delve into pressing issues such as the importance of supporting women eco-entrepreneurs and innovating financing models and the impact of women entrepreneurs in driving sustainable green future. So today's session focuses on a critical enabler for women eco-entrepreneurs, which is access to finance. Across Asia and the Pacific, women entrepreneurs are driving sustainable innovations and climate resilience. However, many face persistent barriers in securing capitals, including gender barriers, lack of collaterals, and lack of financing products that meet their demands. So this session will spotlight innovative financing mechanisms and solutions that can unlock capital for women-led eco-enterprises. The session will explore how financial institutions, investors, and development partners can design inclusive financial instruments that empower women entrepreneurs to thrive in the green economy. So the webinar will run for 1 hour, and after the panel discussion, we will have Q&A session towards the end of the program. So please feel free to submit your questions through the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen. Now I am pleased to invite Dr. Sudhir Sharma, Regional Sub-Program Coordinator for Economic and Finance Transformation from United Nations Environment Program for his opening remarks. The floor is yours, Dr. Sudhir.
Thank you so much, Yokoto. Good afternoon, dear participants. It's a pleasure being here today and being a participant in this particular webinar. I'm very excited to see the number of registrations that have been highlighted. So hopefully more than 50% would be women entrepreneurs joining us today. Now, I want to start. I know we have been talking a bit about climate change and how urgent the requirement is. So I thought I'll start with a bit of an optimism. UNEP launched the emissions cap report, and it says that actually with the current policies and actions and NDCs, if implemented fully, we would be able to limit the increase in temperature to 2.5 degrees above the pre-industrial temperature. The reason I'm saying, you must be wondering, how is it optimist when the target is to be well below 2? When we first put out that report in 2015, at that point in time, the estimate was that we will achieve 3.5 degree increase in temperature. So we have countries have done a good work in terms of giving a momentum or starting the work. But yes, we still do need a lot of work that needs to be done to get it down well below 2 degrees. Uh, One of the things which is again gives optimism is that it is not that we don't have technologies. We have technologies which are competitive, be it renewable energy, be it battery storage, which is becoming fast competitive with the rate at which prices are falling. Electric vehicles, we see a rapid surge in that. Energy efficiency technologies are already readily available and can be quickly deployed. A lot of technologies are available to improve building energy efficiency, which is another area. So we do have these technologies available. They are quite competitive with the older technologies based on fossil fuel. And also the important part is if we look at in the 10 years, a lot of supply chains have been built. So initially when we started, that was a big challenge, but we are not there now. We have those supply chains in place in the region as well. So those two give a reason for optimism that there is a possibility, a strong possibility for us to scale things up. But nonetheless, in the region, two key issues are that we still have not able to, and that's the biggest stumbling block, being able to mobilize finance to scale. Finance has started flowing, but if we look at the overall investment, climate aligned investment is purely 10% of the overall investment happening in the economies. Second, and a very genuine concern of the economies is the just transition, in the sense a lot of unempowered people who are already not so included in the planning for growth might further get excluded. So those are the two major concerns that we see. When we're looking at women entrepreneurs, that's one area that we need to focus on. How do we make sure that the 50% of intelligence which is there on the earth is also equally given, included in to contribute to this massive endeavor that we all need to undertake. Second, the Empower project, which has been working a lot with the medium and small enterprises. And that's another key area which needs to be addressed in terms of the just transition, because this is the area, and quoting from an ADB report, which almost provides labor employment to 60% of the labor population and contributes almost in the range of 35 to 40% of the GDP. So it's a big area which needs to be brought along in this transition. The challenge this sector faces is again access to finance because of its small size and various other aspects which already Yokoto mentioned, so I would not go into it. And on top of that, this women entrepreneurs face further barriers. One, mostly also still to a quite extent culturally driven, because there is an increased perceived risk of women entrepreneurs or led enterprises as seen as more riskier investments. And today, it is good to see that we have a panel to, understand how do we address this particular challenge which is faced, and also to be able to see how we can actually design a more inclusive financial ecosystem. Before and I think I'll be amiss if I don't talk a little bit about the Empower project, because I think Empower project has done a commendable job in this region to be able to create and showcase, things can be done. There are solutions, and I'm sure our panelists will be sharing those solutions today. So we very much look forward to the panelists in terms of bringing together and seeing what kind of innovative financing models and digital financing services can be tailored so that we can both scale up the action and also make it more inclusive. What kind of actionable solutions are available which can lead to greater investments, and most importantly, be able to use this as a platform where we can share all the ideas that are being developed in different part of the economy, and also help each other in moving forward. With that, I very much look forward to the discussion today, and I'm sure the participants will gain a lot in terms of understanding, what options and solutions are available. And I wish everyone a good webinar today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Surya. You have given us a good segue to the panel discussion. And now let's dive into the panel discussion. So we are thrilled to have a distinguished panel of experts, as Dr. Surya mentioned. So we have speakers from commercial bank, microfinance, fintech, development finance, really diverse views, and also diverse experiences from countries across South Asia. So our first speaker is Ms. Wen T. Kim Kwon, with more than 20 years of experience in banking, finance, and investment. Ms. Kwon currently serves as a branch director for Bank of Investment and Development of Vietnam, BIDV. She leads business strategy development for the corporate client segment, with a strong emphasis on green and sustainable finance, including green credit, sustainable trade finance, and financial products that support women entrepreneurs. And she pioneered initiatives to provide specialized credit packages and digital financial ecosystem support, notably leveraging international resources like Women Entrepreneur Finance Initiative, known as WIFI, in collaboration with ADB to accelerate female entrepreneurs' access to capital and technology. So, Ms. Kwon, thank you so much for joining. So from a commercial banking perspective, we'd like to hear the main barriers that you see that women-led enterprises face in accessing finance. And also please share with us how BIDV is working to tailor its financial product and services to meet the demand of women entrepreneurs, especially in the green economy. So virtual floor is yours, Ms. Kwon.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your question. This is a topic that frequently discussed at the SMB Supporting Conference in Vietnam. It's my great honor to be here today since BIDV is a big bank and a pioneer bank in supporting WSME in Vietnam. To answer your question, let me first introduction about the BIDV. We have 68 years of developed, and we are the biggest bank in terms of total assets and the total lending portfolio. And we also have a very large networking in Vietnam, and that's on both our strength to support the IDB to finance and to have and to be the pioneer bank in supporting women-led SME in Vietnam. I think because of the leadership of the time, so I go directly to your question. First, at BIDV, we recognize our pioneer role in the market. We understand that the access to the finance for women-led SME is a multi-faced challenge. This hurdle lies both in the financial sphere and intrinsic business capacity. We also categorize these barriers into two main groups. The first group is financial barrier. This is primarily about the collateral gap. In Vietnam, many women-led SMEs, especially micro and startup firms, lack the traditional fixed asset like land or real estate required by banks. Making these entrepreneurs very difficult to meet the standardized collateral requirement. Also, their smaller scale leads to a perception of higher risk and challenging in financial transparency. So it makes their, it also lead to they also need the so they also bear the high interest rate when they submit for a loan from the bank. And the second main group of the barriers is non-financial barrier. This speaks to the capacity and knowledge gap. Many women entrepreneurs may lack formal training in professional financial planning, corporate governance, and they also often lack adequate information regarding available bank product and vital business networking opportunity, such as we call business matching. That's the two main group of barrier. And to well awareness of these barrier of the women SME in approaching the finance from bank, our strategy, the ADB strategy is we adopt a dual approach strategy, focusing on both providing capital and building capacity for these women-led SME. For the first thing, on the financial solutions side, we also actively moving beyond traditional asset lending. We prioritize cash flow based lending product, where the assessment is focused on the business model, viability, and a predictable revenue stream. And we also implemented sophisticated supply chain finance as the solution. I must talk a little bit about the SCF in Vietnam. It's very new in Vietnam. The supply chain finance is very new. And thanks to the support from a TA project from ADB. So we have built the supply chain finance system for our women-led SME and also SME client to utilize the validated transaction and contract with the credible anchor firm and as an effective collateral substitute. And to one more, to the strategic partnership with international development institute like the Asian Development Bank, ADB, or we file or something other FI, we secure dedicated, cheaper credit line and risk share mechanism. This allows us to launch the special some targeted green loan packages with the preferential interest rate for women eco-entrepreneur, aligned with our financing with Vietnam Sustainable Development agenda. And also for the in terms of non-financial solution, we also leveraging the digital transformation. Also thanks to the support from ADB, also a TA program, we also we had been built on a platform we call it SME and Easy, and we have a dedicated site for the women-led SME. This platform called SME means SME Easy. So facilitate the easy transaction, processing, account management, and simplify loan application submission. Its platform also significantly reduce the time and cost for women-led SME when they make the transaction with the bank. We also offer free reduction on substantial banking service and provide some advisory services to help the WSME structure professional loan and application and improve their financial reporting transparency. In addition to that, we also conduct regular management training and upskill workshop focused on financial literacy, corporate governance, and adoption of ESG standard. And we also organizing business matching event. It is the key to connect WSME with the larger buyer, potential investor, and crucial business partner. And the last one that I think is very important in supporting SME to approaching and in banking financing for green is credit. And through the SME platform that I have mentioned some minute ago, we do and we took some, you could pick some good brands of our WSME client to make the branding for them through BIDV network, because we are the big name, we have a large network, we have a very strong base in total assets, so we have them with our capacity to make their brands to get closer to their client. So that on the financial and non-financial solution that BIDV had support to make the barrier easier for the SIP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Pon. It's really impressive, and I really liked about what you talked on the supply chain finance, and also how the SME Easy platform and the BIDB client network is expanding the network for women entrepreneurs themselves, and also helping them to scale their businesses. I think this is really impressive and great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I would like to now invite Mr. Paritat Patampai, our next speaker. So we are moving from Vietnam to Thailand. So with a distinguished career in leadership roles in the financial sector, Mr. Paritat had served as a chief executive officer and previously as deputy managing director at Mantai Capital, and has held key positions at Mantai Leasing, Real Asset Development, Kasikom Bank, and Goldman Sachs in London. His extensive experience and vision continue to drive innovation and growth in the non-banking financial industry. And ADB and Mantai Capital collaborates through a loan package aimed at enhancing financial inclusion and supporting women-led micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises, especially in rural Thailand. So Mr. Paritat, thank you so much for joining. And could you please tell us what are the most significant challenges women-led eco-entrepreneurs face in accessing small loans in Thailand? And can you please tell us how does Mantai Capital design products that meet their needs, especially for green businesses? Over to you, Mr. Paritat.
Okay. Yeah, sure. I've got it. Thank you so much. So again, thank you for this opportunity. So we are the largest NBFI in Thailand, and we are listed in Stock Exchange of Thailand. And today we have over 3.6 million active customers, and 55% of our active customers, they are female. Okay, and we are operating the business through 8,400 physical branches in Thailand. Okay, so we are by far, in terms of the network, we are by far number one in Thailand. And of course, we do microfinance, and that is, I'm going to tell you the reason why we need this many network. Okay, next slide, please. Right, okay. So our experience about the challenges that women-led eco-enterprises face in our country is that first, women tend to have a seasonal income. So their income may be coming from the organic farming, coming from the handicraft, coming from eco-tourism services. Those businesses, they are quite seasonal. And sometimes when they go to the bank, reject them. So we see this is a constraint for the women not to be able to tap into the loan that they want. And second reason is that women, they don't have a good high value collateral. So what I mean is that in my country, the land is usually owned by spouse, owned by husband, and a high value asset is actually, owned by the spouse. So women sometimes they only own a small asset like old motorbike, something that far less value, and therefore, commercial bank reject them from getting money. Okay. And also, if they are able to get money, sometimes, the bank will tell them that, it's going to take 2 months, it's going to take 1 month, and, sometimes they need money now. So therefore, they have to go to the loan shark, to illegal lender to get the money. Okay. Third, women often, don't have the financial knowledge and don't have digital literacy, confidence. So we can tell, we can see that many women, they actually, they want to borrow money. They have a fantastic idea to run the business, but they don't know how to look into the they don't know how to do budgeting. They don't know, how to calculate their book, writing down their income, revenues, and so on. At the same time, they feel intimidated to use the digital application because nobody tell them. Many of our customers, they are over the age of 50 years old. Okay, and it's not going to be easy for them to be as confident as the younger ladies, to use the digital channel in order to get access to the money from any lenders in my country. Third, the transparency issues. This is like making things even worse, and probably is pushing like women away from getting loan from formal loan lender, because often that lot of loan lenders, a lot of operators, they don't provide sufficient information for the lady borrowers, and sometimes they don't tell everything, and sometimes like after the borrowing, then the loan officers start to tell them extra bit of more information. So it creates the loss of the trust for the women to come to borrow. And sometimes as well is the responsible lending practice. In Thailand, a few years back, it's not being forced by the regulator. So sometimes it's really scared, women led entrepreneurs to borrow loan with a company like ours. Okay. However, Muang Thai Capital, my company, we've been around for 34 years. Okay, a lot of products that been designed is been designed with mixed gender product design. So we are thinking of considering female and gender equality into our product design, and that is probably why we are #1 in Thailand in terms of the microfinance provider. So so what do we do, and what do we set benchmark differently, and how do we lead the landscape in Thailand? So allow me to share you quickly. First, we try to be flexible with our women entrepreneur. Flexible as in what? We do accept collateral, but the value of the collateral, they do not have to be high value. So what we do is that we accept motorbike as a collateral, but we only keep the document of the motorbike, and the motorbike can be 20 years old. You know, most of the lenders in the past, they only do 5 years old motorbike. For us, no, we do 20, you know, the motorbike can be 20 years old. We keep the document. The women can go home with their motorbike and can use and can use the motorbike on their business. So it won't interrupt their income. Okay, so I think we came out with this idea like 30 years ago, and you know, now people just follow us everywhere in this country. Secondly is that we actually use hybrid model, human touch and digital touch together. So since we have like more than 8,400 physical branches in Thailand, you know, we encourage women to come to our physical branch. We are only like within 2 kilometers away from their home. When they come to us, we actually help to explain and making sure that everything is transparent to our customers, okay? So whatever they are unclear, we explain everything to them. And we also, you know, help them to open the application through their mobile phone as well. And today we have over 1 million downloaded on the application. Not only that, okay, if the woman, of course, at the beginning, they are offline customers. Most of our customers, they don't have the data online. But after a while, if they pay us on time, we take their information, then we use the information to give them clean loan on top, okay? So this allows them to be able to borrow more without, you know, of course, you have to be disciplined. They have to show us evidence to be able to pay, but that would allow them to have more access to the small loans. That is what we do. And last but not least is the purpose. We do ask each of our women borrower, well, mix both male and female borrower, that what are they going to do with the money, with the funds they receive. And of course, we go accordingly to MSMS framework that, you know, we work together with ADB to make sure that, you know, the money they're going to use is go within the framework that we set. It doesn't create, you know, an environmental issue, and everything will be on the purposeful of the green businesses.
Thank you so much, Mr. Parita. It's again very impressive stories, and I particularly am impressed about the customer-centric approach that you apply, and you really see the issue from the customer's point of view. And with your extensive branch network, you have been very successful in building the trustful relationships. Thank you so much. Yes, so from Thailand, we are now moving to Indonesia. Now I would like to turn to Pak Arya Widianto, who is a Chief Risk and Sustainability Officer of Amartha Financial Group. Operating as a digital microfinance lending platform, Amartha has disbursed more than $2 billion in working capital to 3 million women entrepreneurs in 52,000 villages across rural Indonesia. And Pak Arya also serves as the advocate for women empowerment at G20 Empower, representing the private sectors of Indonesia. And before joining Amartha, Pak Arya was a banker at the Japanese MUFG Bank and the Citibank NA. So Pak Arya, we are so happy to have you. We are curious to know what innovative financing model you found most effective in reaching women-led enterprises, especially in rural areas. And can you please share with us how Amartha integrates sustainability and gender into your operation? Over to you.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, as Chico mentioned, Amartha is a fintech lending company. We are operating in Indonesia, and we're focusing our business to serve women, micro and small medium enterprises in rural areas across Indonesia. And as a fintech company, our innovation is actually grounded in the principles of designing with women rather than designing for women. So it has a different philosophy, and it drives us differently in terms of the product development. So accordingly, we adopt a hybrid model, pretty similar to the our friends from Thailand. We combine digital platforms because we're a fintech company with the physical presence of our field officers on the ground. Primarily because our customers are coming from the low educational backgrounds and also the living in rural areas where they have geographical challenges and also low literacy in terms of utilizing their digital devices. So we combine those two approaches so that we could eventually serve them better. This fundamental approach also drives us apart from, let's say, conventional banks who are more into physical presence, as well as fintech who are in Indonesia. They're primarily serve their customers 100% online. So we are in between conventional banks and also the full-fledged fintech companies. And our innovations, as I mentioned earlier, is based upon the design with win principles. So we start by building our core product from providing our female MSMEs with working capital with the aim to improve the productivities of their business. Hence, it helps them generate more revenue and disposable incomes. And then secondly, after we understand and we learn from the financial behaviors of our customer, we see the needs to make the whole process of financial transactions on the day-to-day businesses more efficient, and therefore we introduce our e-wallet and also e-money features inside our applications. And with the e-money and e-wallet, we help our customers who live in a geographically challenging areas to perform the financial transactions more efficiently, and therefore it reduces the cost of their economy on day-to-day basis. And furthermore, we also learn from our customers that those who have personal assets are more resilient towards the financial shocks, like during the pandemic. So we decided to develop a micro investment products for our customers, so they can invest as low as $1, very small amount of money, and then it could generate approximately 7% annual return. And this way, we also educate our customers to start small, to gradually develop and build their own personal assets. So we believe that if women has their own personal assets, then they're not only resilient in terms of the financial sense, but also they will have more power, they will have more equality in the household, especially when it comes to financial decision makings. So with those products, which are designed and also rolled out in sequence, we eventually help our customers to build a ladder towards financial health. And with these elaborative and thoughtful products, we also help our customers to improve their financial literacy without having to tell them what to do with their financial plans. So the product itself and the feature itself, the ease of access, the intuitive features inside the apps that we introduce to our customers by itself is a financial literacy and digital literacy for them. And soon we will also introduce a micro insurance products, so that this overall journey towards financial health will also be protected and equipped with safety in case of any risk happening to these customers along this journey. And on gender and sustainability, we see that incorporating gender, incorporating women as at the forefront of our product development is actually means business for Amarta, because in Indonesia, nearly 60 or even over 60% of our national GDPs are contributed by micro and small medium enterprises. And most of them are informal businesses operated by women. So by having conscious choices to serve these women, to have an affirmative actions to serve these customers better. Actually, Amarta positioned itself to serve the blue ocean, the underserved, the unserved populations who are probably not really interested for other financial players. So this is why we, since the very beginnings of our operations, we focus on serving women, and we focus on serving MSMEs in rural areas of Indonesia. Yes, it is slightly difficult compared to serving the urban populations, but this is the way we differentiate ourselves from the business point of view. And for sustainability, we also learned that Indonesia is also prone to natural disasters, and therefore we rolled out various initiatives related to the environmental protections, and also such as mangrove forest restorations, planting wildlife corridors in Indonesia, not as part of CSR or charity, but instead it's part of our risk management, because what we believe is that if we could protect our environment, then on the long run, it is also an investment for Amarta to safeguard our business interests and ensure the resilience of our communities can be preserved.
Thank you so much, Pak
Thank you.
Arya. Yeah, it is really exciting to hear your stories, how you evolved the products, step by step, really looking at the needs and demands of the customers. And I particularly liked your product features about investment. I think this is really important for female to build their own assets, and you are also moving into insurance. So catering not just about the needs for the capital itself, but also looking at the financial needs more holistically. Thank you so much. So now let's invite our last speaker, Carola. Thanks for waiting. Carola Menzel is a sustainable finance expert of ADB's Women Finance Exchange. Carola has also heads the Frankfurt School UNEP Collaboration Center for Sustainable Finance. She has a background in sustainable finance sector development and institutional and staff development with more than 20 years of experience. She has worked with private and public sector organizations, revising and developing strategies, policies, processes, and financial products. Carola, thank you so much for joining. It'd be great to hear about how does WFX support financial institutions and designing gender-responsive and climate-smart financial solutions. Over to you, Carola.
Thanks a lot, Chico, and also thanks a lot for making me here part of this very esteemed and inspiring panel that we have here today. We could hear already a lot of very valuable praxis from different countries here. And I can only here compliment somehow based on the experience that we are collecting here in our Women Finance Exchange platform. I just introduce you briefly to our initiative, and later on also touch on more on the barriers and the challenges of women and how we are actually addressing them jointly with financial institutions. Next slide, please. Our Women Finance Exchange initiative has been founded by the Private Sector Finance Initiative within ADB 2021. And that was based on the fact that it was acknowledged that women have such special needs, as we could already hear from the other speakers, particularly the women-owned and led businesses. And here we wanted to have an approach that helps financial institutions to come up with a very inclusive way of helping these women, women-owned enterprises, but also have already the sustainable finance needs in our back of our mind and see how we can support that in different financial institutions to scale up here opportunities that women already bring when they are part of their client pool. However, as we could already hear from the other speakers, it is not just only access to finance, hey? It is really a mix of various challenges that we have to look into on the hand of the woman on the hand of the financial institutions, but also the overall ecosystem, right? It's an institution like a finance institution or a woman do not exist independently. We have here to look into a wider ecosystem. So therefore, our platform here, the Women Finance Exchange platform, provides on one hand blended finance solutions to financial institutions to make sure we can here define, first of all, mobilize sufficient refinance, but also then define instruments that are also tailored to the needs of women. Here's one sample presented on this slide. There are many others, but in this case, we worked in the Pacific, in Fiji directly with a microfinance institution, having identified the need for refinance, first of all, for women-owned microfinance enterprises, a large scale of finance gap that we identified, and then jointly with the financial institutions had the opportunity to come up with a credit line that helped then also on a performance-based grant to mobilize here various women-owned enterprises and giving them access to finance. But what I said, right, it's not just the only thing here we look into in accessing finance. The financial institutions, as we also heard, have already needs to scale up technical solutions internally to help themselves to progress with women-owned enterprises and clients itself. So making sure we can gather data, collect them, and also work with such data in a sufficient way that we can eventually also identify the needs of women and also to appropriately assess the risk within financial institutions with whom they're working and also the opportunities. And here we have technical solutions on board. We could hear already some of them. And we are partly working with fintech solutions that help financial institutions to install technical solutions that help really the data collection, but also credit scoring here in a very systematic way. That is also helping an efficient way of working with the increasing demand to finance. On the other hand, we noticed, as I mentioned, the need for sustainable finance solutions. This is obviously across micro and medium-sized enterprises, its need for sustainable finance. However, when we look into women-owned enterprises, we also see here an increasing demand. Therefore, we want to make sure the products and the way products are marketed are also designed in a way that they also reach out to women and can be accessed by women. We have here a sample that is already presented earlier indeed. Our colleague from BIDV mentioned already the cooperation with ADB, and there we also looked into the opportunity how green finance could be scaled within BIDV, and then also making sure through free finance, really tailored green finance products can be also tailored to women-owned enterprises. In Georgia, we worked with financial institutions on bond frameworks, right? Financial institutions are also in need to mobilize finance to ensure that the increasing demand for sustainable finance can be met. And having here sound sustainable bond frameworks in place within financial institutions help them to attract really also alternative funding sources that helps also then again to increase the access to finance. But such frameworks need to be really sound, improved, and aligned with, on one hand, national standards, but also with international standards and frameworks such as the bond frameworks that are already existing. And on the other hand, we also have in our team very valuable knowledge products already produced and keep on doing that, offering also webinars, but also tailored trainings, provide a regular newsletter, and make sure that the knowledge that we are gaining and the lessons we are also gaining are shared among each other with our participants that are part of our Women Finance Exchange group, but also the wider audience. So next slide, please. This mix of various input that we are providing and the work we are doing with financial institutions can be only done with also a good mix of knowledge and expertise. Here's just a little snapshot of our very inspiring and patient colleagues that we are working here with that are bringing a bunch of know-how, including IT solutions, digitalization skills, but also the perspective of gender lens that we always have to bring in when working with financial institutions. So it's really a combined effort of know-how expertise that we are bringing, and we are happy to deliver that and share among the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carola. Thanks for really illustrating how the development partners like us can help build the ecosystem and scale the market itself. And thank you. And it was really great to see great pictures of your diversity members. So
I'm not sure whether you also want to address already barriers or you want to do that later.
Okay, so I will move on to the next round of the questions. So, and I'm also conscious about the time. We have already heard so many great stories and innovative approaches, which are very, impressive and impactful. So now I would like to ask our panelists about the way forward. So as we look ahead, how we can take actions as a next steps to further advance financing solutions for women entrepreneurs. So I would now like to invite Ms. Porn again about your perspective on what policies or regulatory changes would help the banks like BIDV to expand financial solutions for women eco-entrepreneurs. Briefly, please. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. For BIDV, we think that there are three key pillars that that's a essential change in the level of policy and regulatory. The first pillar is risk mitigation. We need a clear mechanism to share it with from the regulator with the commercial bank. We would like to strengthen the credit guarantee scheme. And the second, we want to reduce the regulatory risk weighting. The central bank should consider applying a lower regulatory risk weighting coefficient of loan estate to certify women-led SME and verify green project. That's it. And the second pillar, we would like to stress that we must have something called standardization and data infrastructure. We require an efficient data infrastructure and standardized to lower the due diligence costs. The first is we need a mandatory green taxonomy. An urgent finalization and enforcement of a clear, legally binding national green taxonomy is very essential. And the second, we want to have an integration of alternative credit data. So, the regulation should mandate the enhancement of the nation credit information center. We call it CIC to formally recognize and integrate alternative credit data such as utilize payment history and validate supply chain data, something like that. And the third pillar I would like to mention that about financial incentive is very important. Direct policy incentive must be deployed to making lending to women-led eco-enterprise more commercially attractive for banks. The first is, the reference, so refinancing and liquidity support. The central bank should establish the refinancing or discount window for the referential interest rate for commercial bank that achieve predefined lending target for certified women-led SME and green project. This is provide the direct scope fund at venture. And the second is, I think it's very important, it's a tax and fee incentive. Offer the temporary tax break or reduce transaction fee on the loan portfolio directed toward these digital businesses. We will reduce the operational cost burden on banks. And that's it very shortly about the two key pillars. We need the robust support from the regulator and government. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Wong. That's really important and very insightful recommendations, and for also us ADB to take note, because we also, collaborate a lot with the government and regulators. Thank you so much. So I would like to ask Mr. Paritat about your perspectives on how the financial institutions can evolve and what innovative approaches going forward could help scale the financing for women entrepreneurs.
Yeah, it's actually we actually tend to start everything from ourselves, because we tend to see we tend to have better idea from the ground than the regulator, but we do meet up with the regulator like every single month to try to exchange what they see from overseas and from other commercial banks, and how can those ideas be applied to us. But from our perspective, because we are ever so close to the customers, then we tend to give a lot of feedbacks and can be able to help the regulator to generate the right responsible lending code for the country. Now, I believe that everything can start from us. And for my business, we look very much for the sustainability in the long run rather than the short run. And we always put the customers at the heart of the business. However, often that we forgot what international lenders would consider, and that is how we like to work with ADB and other DFIs to be able to come and give us knowledge, educate us on how we can a domestic company like MTC can evolve, can improve to be up and beyond the internet, the domestic standard. Yeah, that's how I would say it. So we really work together.
Thank you so much, Mr. Paritat, and thank you for your recommendation how we can play our roles. Perhaps, having more facilitation on the regional exchange of the financial providers. Institutions like us will be able to play more role. Thank you. And Pak Arya, if you could come in a little bit to share with us about the role of digital platform and data in improving the access for finance for women entrepreneurs.
Right, yeah. So digital platforms like Amarta use alternative data point instead of using collaterals or other documentations, which for some MSMEs are maybe lacking. So by elaborating these data points to understand the credit worthiness of our customers, we've been able to remove the barriers of access for these women, especially those operating informal businesses. So for instance, to replace the collaterals or credit histories, we use behavioral data, telco data, and sometimes using a group dynamics informations. And even now we are developing some vision AI to be able to triangulate and also to collect alternative information, so that even without a proper financial or digital footprints, we will eventually be able to profile these potential customers and have the confidence about the creditworthiness of these customers. And more than that, I think by leveraging these alternative data points, we are able to offer more varieties of products which is relevant to the developments of these MSME. So instead of just offering working capital loan, we could tailor the products into a flexible loan, agri loan, small, higher ticket size, short or longer terms loan, depending on the characteristics of the income of our customers. And nowadays, we're also offering additional features in our application. As you can see, 10 years ago, we only have one product, which is working capital loan, but with the alternative data that we collected, now we could offer various financial products. And also in terms of the underwriting, credit underwriting, it will be way much more simpler, way much more faster, so that it would encourage more women, more MSMEs in rural areas who are previously excluded from the financial systems to be involved and now could actively participate and use our digital product more seamlessly. Thank you, Chico.
Thank you so much, Pak Arya. I'm sure your journey will continue and your product and services will evolve further. So, Carola, sorry, we are kind of almost out of time, but perhaps you may want to touch about the Lao research that you have conducted so that the participants can take a look.
Thank you indeed. Maybe let me summarize here what we all know and why we are here actually, right? We are here talking about women-owned businesses. We heard about the challenges of them, right? Low literacy and no access to finance and so on. However, they are also a very vibrant community, which bring a lot of opportunities for the economies. And on the other hand, we also can observe already that women-owned enterprises are the ones that have a much lower non-performing loan scale when we look into the data of financial institutions. And on the other hand, they're also driving often sustainable solutions within the markets because this is their intrinsic interest to also promote a healthier environment. So summarizing such benefits of women, we obviously have, on the other hand, the barriers that they are still facing. And we have to see them as a bundle of barriers. We can't just zoom into one of them. We have to look into all the different challenges that they are facing. And this is beyond access to finance, as we heard. And then if we look into the next slide, when we support financial institutions, we look first of all into the overall ecosystem to understand who are these microfinance or medium-sized enterprises, what are their challenges, why they are facing challenges to access finance or even other challenges or barriers. And here in the case of Lao, we zoomed really into the existing enterprises that already promote green economic solutions, such as green tourism activities, and acknowledge that they already drive a lot of activities without access to finance. But as soon as they are able to access also gain ownership of the assets, they are much more enabled to also access finance. And on the other hand, we also look into the actual other roles of women, right? They are also caring about homes and kids and elderly members of the family. If such services can be also addressed by other networks, then women-owned enterprises are able to also be more active in their businesses. But also acknowledging the fact that financial institutions itself are often so much interested in sustainable finance activities and supporting their women-owned enterprises, it is really interesting to see how we can help them. I literally, it's not easy, but helping them to gather data first of all, so technical solutions we heard already from the other speakers, but also then to tailor the financial instruments. However, if you can see on the next slide, it is not all. We need to also look into the wider ecosystem. We heard it from BIDV. We need to also speak to the regulator of the financial sector. We need to have also guarantees in place that help small enterprises. that have no background in accessing finance and working with banks to ensure that they can work with banks or microfinance institutions by maybe having access to guarantees. So promoting within financial institution the matter of sustainable finance with a gender lens or the other way around is possible through a strategic approach, not just by adding one financial product. It needs to be a strategic approach addressing technical solutions, the strategy, the product, but also building capacities within the staff community of financial institutions to ensure everyone understands the opportunities of women-owned enterprises, that they are really valuable customers, and that with the right support, that they are also an added value to the financial institution, but also to the wider community. I just summarized that here quickly only in the interest of time. If there are further questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Carola. This is a very interesting piece that the WFX team did in Laos. So please, this is available online, so please take a look. So my apologies about the bad time management. We are already over time. But we are so, I think we really enjoyed listening to wonderful panelists who covered many insightful points and shared valuable perspectives. So to wrap up today's session, I'm pleased to invite Samantha Hun, Director of the Gender Equality Division at ADB, to share her closing remarks. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you very much, Chieko. I hope everyone can hear me. As usual, you always run out of time, but I wish to thank very much the panelists and participants for joining us today for a super interesting discussion. I think today's session has highlighted both challenges and opportunities in unlocking capital for women entrepreneurs. We heard a lot about persistent barriers, but we also heard about some of the innovative financing approaches and partnerships that are creating positive pathways for women entrepreneurs in Southeast Asia. So needless to say, at ADB, we are very committed to advancing women's economic empowerment by expanding financial access and services for women entrepreneurs. And as speakers highlighted, we do this through initiatives such as the Women's Finance Exchange, through collaboration with financial institutions such as BIDV, and also a range of other partnerships with governments, private sector, and all kinds of development partners. So as we reflect on insights shared today, I'd just like to urge everyone to let's please keep working together and maintain momentum to improve financial ecosystems and ensure that women entrepreneurs have the resources and support that they need to be successful. So on behalf of ADB and our partners today at UNEP, Empower, UN Women and Seeds, thank you very much again for your active participation and commitment. Please join us for following sessions in this webinar series. And thank you very much and have a wonderful rest of the day.
Thank you very much, Sam. And again, thank you so much for all the panelists, and please join us in giving them a big round of virtual applause. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Have a good day.
Thank you. Have a good day.